So, in my island update for this week, we're going to be talking about the tourism protest that took place in Palma yesterday and whether you have anything to worry about if you're coming over here on holiday. Plus, I have water park news for the middle of this week, and I have cruise news and the all-important weather forecast for the week ahead. But we're starting this video over here on the Magaluf beach, and I thought it appropriate to come down here to Magaluf this morning to show you that, well, holidays are continuing as normal. In fact, they continued as normal during the time of the protest, which took place yesterday in Palma City. Now, I want to make it absolutely clear that you will be seeing news coverage, you'll be seeing mass media news coverage from the protests during the course of the week. And these newspaper articles may well say that Brits are not welcome over here in Spain. So what's the reality and what actually happened yesterday? So yesterday, on the 15th of June, thousands of island residents turned out into the centre of Palma on a very quiet and hot Sunday afternoon to protest against the deepening housing crisis that we have here in Mallorca, which is driven by mass property sales to wealthy non-resident home buyers. They're protesting as well about the surge in Airbnb rentals, plus growing touristification, which means the government putting the needs of tourists well before island residents, as well as talking about tourism saturation on certain parts of the island too. And these protests as well are a result of tourism without any kind of limit, and I think we can all agree that some kind of balance is needed over here in the island, as indeed is needed in other tourism hotspots around the world too. Now, this isn't just in Mallorca. These protests aren't exclusive to Mallorca. They took place all over Spain, and they took place in other hot holiday hotspots around Europe as well. And in fact, for some context, please comment below if these protests have taken place where you live in the world as well. Let me know if this is also something that you guys are suffering from wherever you're watching in the world. Now, I'm going to bring you my version of events, and it might be a little bit different to what you will see in the mainstream media. So the reports that you're going to be reading in the mainstream media are going to be largely just photographs from the placards that we saw being held up at the protest yesterday. These articles will also have been written by journalists behind closed doors or in other countries, but I was actually there, and in this video you're going to see some exclusive content. I actually spoke to the protesters, and they gave me their reasons why they turned out yesterday for this protest. But my big question is this mainstream media coverage going to actually create more damage to the tourism industry on the island without actually addressing any issues that are important? And this is really my concern here, which is why I'm putting out this video, hopefully to allow you to understand the issues taking place. Plus, I have coming up as well an interview with a couple here on holiday as well, who I met over in Palma yesterday too. So while these placards have made the headlines, we're going to roll the clocks back to yesterday, find out what some of these protesters had to say. So let's go back and take a look at what took place. Okay, so can you tell me a little bit more about this? What is your message? Is your message to the government?
Yeah, to the government and also to the media that try to, criticize the movement, telling that we don't want tourists or something like, it's really not personal. We are all tourists sometimes, and it's more like about the size of the thing and the consequences for a little island. Touring. Yeah.
Perfect. So you're saying tourists are welcome here, but the government needs to do more to protect people's lives.
Yeah, of course, because they are doing really nothing to regulate
And this is the fourth protest, and nothing has been done.
Well, they do meetings with the big hotels companies and things like that, but actually this is just they are like making plans on their own. They are not listening to the real problems of for living. The flats that are super expensive.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so tell me more about this banner here. Tell me more about what you are protesting against.
The main problem what I wanted to relate here is that there are a lot of houses that are empty, and here the citizens we have a big issue to find a house. And it's a shame because a lot of people got properties. We have properties, but they are empty because the foreigners, they hold it. So we cannot, the price, they overprice the price of the house, and we cannot go into that market because they already fill it. And also the vacational rent, like Airbnb and this stuff, is taking people from the city. And we have to go far away. We cannot afford first line, we cannot afford the nice places. And they put us in the worst places. And it's not fair because our families work a lot for this island. And we are happy to get tourists, but not that much.
Also there's a problem with people selling. Do you have a message?
Yeah, I have a message for local people that is selling houses, that they are selling houses. Please don't sell it to the real estate companies because they overprice. And we, the locals, we cannot afford. We prefer us to sell in between local people on regular prices.
Thank you very much. Okay, so this sign says, as you come, I have to go. Okay, tell me.
We need that you don't come in our land and buy our houses because every day is more difficult that the residents can live here in our house. We want tourism. We live of the tourism, say the people, but 40 years ago we live of the tourists and we live better than now. The government just think about the money, not about the residents.
Entiendo.
Thank you very much.
Okay, muchas gracias. Marga Proen's here, look, big protest against her. She's the current president of the Balearic Islands. Okay, can you tell me about this sign? What's this sign mean? Why do you feel mass tourism is destroying your culture and way of life?
Our houses or flats are being selling to people who rent them to tourists. So for example, we, Mallorcan people, can't live in the center of the city while people from other countries can stay here. For example, our beaches are full of people, are collapsed, our roads are collapsed of cars, and it's impossible to live here.
Do you think the government is doing enough about this?
Right now, I don't think so, because the regional government of Balearic Islands are in favor to get more tourists in the island, so no.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
And it wasn't just Mallorquin residents at the protest, as I found out that I was speaking to a German resident here. Can you tell me, who are you protesting to today? Who is your protest against?
It's against mass tourism.
It's against, and who is it directed to? Is it directed to the government or to tourists coming here?
It is mostly for the government, I guess, because they have the power to regulate it and they do nothing. The problem is that mass tourism is since 20 years a huge problem here, and it's every year more, and governments are not able to regulate this. There are a lot of people, and lately, the last 5 years, people get more affected in their daily life by tourism. It is really difficult to live here together with a lot of people which are like just in 20 years more than the double.
Okay, so I've just left Calle San Miguel here, and so I just wander back to where everyone is congregating here on Paseo del Borne. Okay, so this can't really be a pleasant experience for anyone coming out here eating today. I don't think anyone's particularly that bothered. I think most people do know that a protest is taking place. And you can see, look, everyone's congregating here right at the bottom of Paseo del Borne. Got quite a heavy police presence, but with the amount of whistles going off here, well, I don't think it's a very pleasant experience for anybody. I think these people today really want to make their point heard. The government that haven't listened, are they going to listen to them? this time around. This is protest number 4. Will there be protest number 5? Well, like I always say, time will tell, and watch this space. I've bumped into, I can't remember your names.
Maria and Sean.
Okay, guys, tell me, what's the atmosphere like in Palma today? Do you feel threatened? Do you feel unwelcome? Do you feel...
No, it's very, very nice. It's very beautiful.
Because I've just literally come down the back streets of the demonstration here, but you're enjoying your day out. And Tommy, you just here in Palma for the weekend?
Yes, we are.
There's quite a bit of police presence we've noticed as we've been walking around.
Yeah, but you don't feel like it's like going to be some terrible event, or
No.
you're not scared or anything. Because I know people will be watching this and reading the papers and being
it's very nice. It's very pleasant, and the Spaniards are very friendly.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm Filipino, so I know them very well.
Oh, bless you.
352 years. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Well, look, I won't take up any more of your time. Enjoy the rest of your holiday.
Thank you, and I'm very pleased to see you. Thank you very much. You take care.
So finally, is your summer holiday under threat? Are you going to be subject to whistleblowing or people squirting water pistols at you if you come over to Mallorca this summer? Well, the answer is no. These protests were organised legal protests, and they're allowed to give residents their voice as well, and to protest about issues that we have here on the island. Watch my videos, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. I've been out and about asking holidaymakers whether they feel welcome here on the island, so make sure you go and watch those videos. Like I said, no protests are taking place in the resorts. This was an organised event that took place in Palma, and like I said, we're going to be seeing plenty more about it rolling out in the mainstream media as we run on through the summer. So I'm keen to know your opinions. Please comment below. I'm looking forward to reading them. But in the meantime, let's move on to some other news. And this is about the water parks here particularly in Palma. I'm not sure up in Alcudia, but on Wednesday, if you are planning to go to the water park, maybe give it a miss on that day, because just about every school in the Palma area is either going to Agualand or going to Western Water Park. The queues are going to be much longer on these days. So I would literally go on any other day, because like I said, the water parks are going to be busy on those days. Also, if you are planning your day trip into Palma, when is the least busy day for you to make your day trip into Palma this week? Just bearing in mind the huge amount of cruise passengers that we have rolling into Palma port this week. And this week we have a total number of 42,000 cruise passengers arriving into Palma port. The quietest day this week is going to be Wednesday, and I can't actually see registered any big cruise ships coming in. So that's going to be your ideal day. If you're not going to the water park, go into Palma on Wednesday instead. The busiest day is going to be once again on Saturday. We've got almost 12,000 cruise passengers arriving on the Ida Cosma, the Marella Voyager and the Norwegian Breakaway. So that may well be a day to avoid if you're hoping to visit Palma on a day trip. Okay, so finally, the weather forecast for the week ahead. Well, summer is here. What can I say? We've got very, very high temperatures. We've got highs of 33. We've got lows of 18. There's no rain forecast anywhere. There's a very light breeze this morning, but I'm expecting that to drop away. It's hot, it's humid. Bring Factor 50 sun cream, bring a hat, and drink plenty of water if you're out and about sightseeing too. Okay everyone, thanks very much for watching my island update for this week. I'm going to be out and about in the resorts this week as well. I'll be live streaming from somewhere over the weekend too, so subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. I'm going to drop a couple of videos appearing both here and here to help you out with your holiday. In the meantime, you can find me on the Facebook group and on my Instagram, also called Mallorca Under the Sun, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Goodbye for now.